And now, coming to you from the Conductor Chaos Studios, the Gamer Couch Podcast. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Gaming. We cover it all. The newest and latest in gamer streaming. From the newest streamers to the big timers. What makes them click? How did they get started? What games do they play? What do they play on? We're going to cover it all.
It's all about humanity.
On this episode of the Gamers Couch Podcast.
Hey, welcome to this episode of the Gamers Couch Podcast. We're back again, Julio and I. Julio
Hello.
Games. How's it been going?
Pretty good. Just been keeping busy. Was off stream for a few weeks, so I'm back in again, and I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm now the head of media and marketing for White Box Gaming, and they're just coming out with a ton of games. Actually, there's a ton on the roster right now, so I'm really excited to see what's going to come of this.
Really? Like what? What do they got?
Well, I can't leak too much potentially. I don't know if I'm under any sort of contract for that, so I'll be careful. But
Is
they
it
just
is it still like the 8-bit style, or is it going to be some other Unity stuff?
there's going to be some other stuff actually, and there's potential hopes for some 3D. So that's on the horizon, and hopefully at some point too we'll be on console. That's our major goal coming up. And yeah, we've got a zombie game actually, so I'm really excited about that.
Nice. Oh, we talked about that, I think. Didn't we? In the last during the we'll have to go back and re-listen.
That was months ago. I can't remember that.
Months ago. Yeah, well, I don't know. That was a long
Yeah, that
one.
was last year. That was in, I think we did that interview in maybe September, October.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. That might have
Yeah.
been first part of December, maybe. I don't know. It wasn't too far ago.
Oh,
Anyway, so Tiger Woods broke his leg in a car wreck, and he's back in the news again. Not for his leg, but he's signing a deal with 2K Sports, or the 2K franchise PGA Tour. So he's going to be doing the golf thing again. And he ran that thing from 99 to 2013.
wow.
So he's back. I'm guessing that's going to be his return to golf in the virtual space versus actually on the links.
I used to play some of those games. They're fun.
Yeah, I was
Get a
going to play
group of
the
us.
2021 one just to try it out. Like, I'm a golf guy, but I don't know, something different about playing golf on a computer rather than going and golfing. You know, can't. Well, I guess you can drink beer at your computer too.
Yeah. The good thing is, less bird poop.
But it, yeah, it didn't say how much the contract was worth. It just said huge deal, so it must be worth a lot of money. So hopefully that serves him well. He's been the icon of golf for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the streamer I talked about in the previous episodes, Alpha Rooster, he is back with Rooster's Smokehouse. It's a Texas pit, smoked meats made with Southern flair. It's jerky. I ordered some myself. It's really freaking good. If you go to his Etsy store, search, it's all one word, Roosters, Roosters, Smoke, Smoke, Haus, Haus. He just launched this the other day. He's already got 70 sales because it's good. It's really good. He's got the butt burner triple X hot beef jerky. I don't know why you always laugh every time I say that, but
I can't help it. Sorry.
that's really good. It's hotter than hell too, but it's soft. It's moist. It's just, I couldn't stop eating it, and it was burning my mouth, and just I don't know. And then he's got a Texas beef sample pack, a Pecos black pepper beef jerky, and a teriyaki. So I really want to try the teriyaki. That looks really good. It's got the little, it's good because it's got the little seeds on it.
Oh, the sesame seeds.
Yeah,
or not sesame seed, sesame seeds.
Yeah, sesame seeds.
That's going to be tasty then.
It's authentic, I guess. I don't know. Sounds good, right? But coming from him, he said that he's worked on those recipes for a very, very long time. So, the taste speaks to that, I guess, because it was really good. It's been a while since I had some really, really good jerky. So, anyway, what do you got?
Well, I've got some exciting news that is somewhat recent. It just as of March 12th, Microsoft has purchased some of Bethesda Softworks game studios. So I think it's 8 studios now underneath or that are added to Xbox Game. And they're going to have all of these games eventually. Right now, there's going to be 20, but eventually, you're going to add more games to the Xbox Game Pass, which is like a subscription service. And let's see, the big part of this, though, is that not only are these games going to be on console, they're also going to be on PC and mobile devices via the xCloud. Except Fallout New Vegas will not be on PC and will not be on mobile devices. And I have no idea why that is. And I think it's a bit unfortunate. But otherwise, in the meantime, right now, Microsoft owns Halo and Minecraft, which we've kind of all known, Age of Empires, Gears of War, Fallout, Doom, which is really exciting, Wolfenstein, The Elder Scrolls, and they're also including what was it, Morrowind, Oblivion. So I mean, that's going to be on there.
Hmm.
Forza, Prey, Dishonored, Hellblade, Battletoads, which is a game I play, and Killer Instinct. So I think this is huge for Microsoft. They're really kind of putting a major hold on some pretty big name games.
Yeah, Bethesda was always kind of the. Didn't they make? Who made? Oh no, I can't think of it. But the little. No, I can't think of it. Hold on, I gotta Google it so I don't sound stupid.
I was ready to Google for you, but I had nothing to go off of. I was like, come on, mind reading powers, let's go.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so then the Minecraft on there. So Fallout. How many Fallouts were there before New Vegas? Was there Fallout, and then Fallout 1 and 2, and then New Vegas?
Well, don't forget 76. Let's see. So it was Fallout that started in 97, then Fallout 2, 98, Fallout 3, 2008, and then Fallout 4 was 2015. But the spinoff was New Vegas in 76. And they also have Fallout Pinball.
Yeah, but Fallout 4 became before New Vegas. New Vegas was after 3.
2010, yeah, it was after 3. You're right.
Yeah. And everybody forgot about Fallout 76 because it was just terrible.
No, that was the more recent one too.
It's just terrible. I had the beta and it was just
Makes
it
you
was
wonder, are they going to make any more?
it was like a DLC to Fallout 4. It was terrible. Only had online multiplayer. So hey, that xCloud though, that's really exciting because I bought a controller that's made for that. It's an Xbox controller. That Moga, whatever, it connects to like your tablet or your PC, and it works just like an Xbox controller.
That is so cool.
Or you can put it in your phone, so I can play on my phone via the xCloud. So I tried PUBG, but the screen was too small, so I was constantly getting killed because I couldn't see anybody. But my Samsung S20 has a 120 hertz screen, so the screen looks beautiful.
Oh wow!
It's just you can't see nothing. It's so small, you can't really, make anybody out. So
that just makes me think about when I had purchased a DSLR camera, and it was such a big deal. It was like 10 megapixels at the time, and it was expensive. And then I swear, not within like 5 years later, maybe even less than that, 10 megapixels on a phone was like nothing.
yeah.
I
But I
mean,
do,
now, yeah, we've got some, fast, refreshing screens now. It's intense. Our technology has just boomed.
yeah, and actually, there's another phone being developed that's going to be coming out that's geared towards gaming. It's an Asus phone. So hopefully, the last one that they came out with wasn't compatible with like LTE here, so you couldn't even use it. It was just a GSM phone, which there's not a whole lot of GSM carriers other than like AT&T. But I think even AT&T might have actually merged. I'm not sure, but you have T-Mobile. T-Mobile's GSM based, but
Okay.
they just merged with Sprint, so I don't know if that's going to change with the 5G stuff.
Hmm.
But the Asus is developing a new phone, which would be kind of interesting to see how well that. But like I said, the phone stuff it's okay, but you really need a big screen to see like FPS based games, like. But stuff like Minecraft or whatever, I guess that would work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not as hard.
But since I work on the railroad too, it's kind of nice to have it just to throw it up while I'm just sitting somewhere waiting to go or in a hotel. I did buy a new gaming laptop since we last recorded. So
Ooh.
yeah, I got one with a 2070 in it. So I've been firing that up on the others. I actually streamed at one of the hotels to Twitch. The last hotel I was in, and it actually worked. And it was the hotel I
On
was
Wi-Fi?
most, yeah, I was most concerned with that one
What?
too. This was out in the middle of Iowa, and
Oh,
they
wow.
had internet like at the hotel. It was great. It didn't
Huh.
skip. It didn't buffer. Like it,
Wow.
crystal clear. Yeah, I was really impressed. So some of these podcast interviews we might be able to do remotely now
That would be
while
wonderful.
I'm away.
Yeah.
Okay, today's guest I'm very excited about on Twitch goes by the name ALEDreamGameOn, also known as ALEDream. The 29-year-old gamer is from New York and has a passion for singing and originally joined Twitch for Twitch Sings, which is now gone, but you can still tune in to hear her randomly sing on stream. She's a staff member for Nurko, a streamer for Versify Esports, and a sponsored Vox Pop streamer. She's also an Amazon Game On partner, so put your sweaty gamer couch podcast hands together for ALEDream.
Hi everyone. Yeah, it's ALEDream by the way.
Okay.
But it's such a pleasure to be here. Yay.
You just go by ALEDream?
I go by ALEDream. People call me my real name or just Ale. It's yeah, it's an interesting name if you think about it.
Yeah, well actually after typing it in a few times I got it down pretty pat. So I went to your website, went through there pretty extensively, and but anyway, let's start back to when you were when did you first start getting into gaming? Have you always been into gaming, or did it start later? Or
So I was introduced gaming at a young age. I actually started playing my first game system that I had my hands on was the Sega Genesis, and I originally played like the Sonic the Hedgehog games. And later on, around the 90s, my first system that I owned was a Nintendo 64, and that's how the love for Zelda grew. And my ultimate favorite game is Zelda Ocarina of Time till this day. Um, then later when I grew up, I focused more into like modeling, acting, and singing. I never thought I would be into gaming until like in the late 2000s, where I fell in a really deep depression. And before game streaming, I did IRL streaming, which is in real life streaming with third party apps with contracts and all that stuff. And during the depression, I didn't want to do IRL because I had to show my face. So when I did game streaming on the third party apps, I did it with no camera, just microphone. And I grew a community that way. And the communities see me through how I like overcome that depression and I overcome my anxiety, even though I do suffer from anxiety and a sleeping disorder and a whole bunch of other messes that we don't have to get into. But it definitely helped me. And then from the third party apps, I went to Facebook gaming for 2 years, and here I am. And 2020 to 2021, I make 1 year on Twitch
All
streaming.
right.
so you were on Facebook gaming like during the Mixer days?
Yes, correct.
Nice. See, Fulio and I, we're like original Mixer peeps, so we kind of get displaced last year. Um, so it's kind of funny that you went like the opposite. Like most everybody that went from Mixer, like had to find a new home, so we all kind of just it was like scattered cats. We like went everywhere. Like
Yeah.
so, it's interesting to hear that you were on Facebook during the time before Facebook kind of merged up with Twitch or Mixer.
Well, I actually started Facebook gaming when it was in the beta days. So I was asked to beta
Oh.
test it, and I was one of the first beta testers for the program. But I don't it didn't work out for me, let's just say. Because during that time I was also contracted with these third party apps. And if you don't know these third party apps, they're basically run like in like China or Hong Kong, for example, like Live Me, Up Live. This one I used to be on called Live AF, now it's known as Live It. And I did game streaming for these exclusive contracts. I got like an annually paid or monthly pay, and then of course people could donate and all that stuff. And I've worked my tushy off with for these apps for pennies, basically. The only cool thing I got of was I was in a billboard in Times Square for one of the apps, which I definitely want to write a blog about it and make a video of how was that experience, because it was definitely life changing, because that billboard happened in year 2019.
Mm.
Nice. Well, yeah. Speaking of New York, you were kind of in the hot zone for the all the COVID stuff too.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But the good thing is, they're rolling out vaccines out. So, and I work for I don't want to say it's like a daycare, but it's compared to a daycare. I actually help students who are doing remote learning, and I help them with their homework and stuff. And I do like after school program and activities. And um the community there actually wants me to demonstrate how to set up gaming and how I got into game streaming, how game streaming could keep the kids off the street and focus and make an income. So I gaming has changed and has given me a lot of opportunities during this pandemic. So I'm highly grateful for all these opportunities I've been receiving.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
What age group do you typically work with?
I work so the grades is from kindergarten all the way to about 6th grade, but I think the lowest grade I have is the highest grade I have is like 3rd, 4th graders. So that's from the ages from all the way from 6 to maybe 12 the most. So yeah,
Wow.
it's a mixture of ages, but I adore the children. They're so smart, these kids. And just the way that this remote learning, I'm learning a lot myself, because I'm a millennial and I didn't have to do remote learning. I learned actually from a teacher writing on a board, but these kindergartens are learning more than I've learned, and I'm like very shocked. But it is what it is, and I'm glad the kids have education, because education is very important, and my mom taught me that since day one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I have kids that are in school, and it was kind of a shock last year. I was like, I took down the picture above the dining room table and I replaced it with a whiteboard and got some whiteboard markers, and like it was just a transition of like how we normally go about life, where we send kids to school and then they come home and you expect them to get taught at school, and then the burden was kind of placed upon our shoulders really early on last year, and I kind of took it with grace, and I actually enjoyed it because I'm really good at math, and I was teaching them math on the board, and using 6 packs of Coke to to show them fractions and stuff like that. So that's very noble of you. I really appreciate that, actually, because I'm very concerned about how kids that have went through this have kind of lost that education path, and I think it's really important that like you're teaching them, and then I step up as a parent and I start refreshing myself on some of those skills that we learned a long time ago, and it actually does us good because we're relearning, but yet we're passing on that knowledge. So I like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. It's definitely a weird transition, but you got to do what you got to do to help the children to understand as well. These children has no idea that we're in a pandemic. Some people are very delusional, or I want to talk about the pandemic, but we have to, since we are living it and it's part of history, and this will be in the history books in the future. So you have to realize that it's happening, and you just got to be cautious and be safe and always look out for yourself. So the cool thing about my job is we do follow the rules, Everyone wears a mask, sanitizer. The kids are in the same room, but there's 6 feet distance, and we have no more than 10 children. So socializing is happening. So even though these kids are from different schools, they have a way of socializing. And that's very important because as me, as a content creator and as a person, I'm actually very antisocial. I don't like crowds, I don't like parties, but every time I am invited to speak at a convention or I have to visit a convention or introduce myself, I had to put on my big boy pants on and be like, I got to do this because, you got to speak up and you got to promote yourself and network to grow in this industry because it's very hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, that's the one thing too that I think we're going to start finding is that as content creators, there's a specific skill set that you learn, and it can be an organic kind of process to that too. So I think what you're doing too by teaching some of this to children is very advantageous for them.
Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of the networking thing, like that's the one thing I noticed about you as I was doing some research to do a little bit of digging to get to know you a little bit better before, because you kind of hit us out of the blue. And I didn't forget about you. Is this I kind of took a little bit of hiatus from the podcast, but as I was doing that research on you, I could tell like this person doesn't leave any stone unturned as far as networking. Like I could tell that you were everywhere. Like you and with all the social media links and your website and your platform and your streaming, I could just tell you're kind of into it.
That's yeah, definitely. Every time I see a door open, I will go walk through it. And if it closes, there'll be other doors that will be opening. And that's how I found it when I left Facebook because I did not want to leave my setup to be catching dust. So I had alternatives. I had YouTube, I had Caffeine, I had DLive, I had a whole bunch of platforms that I could use, but I had a Twitch account. I used to use it as a viewer and I changed it to a streamer, and it has been a miraculous and an amazing journey till now.
Well, speaking of that, so when was your first stream and platform that you ever streamed to?
My first ever stream was Live Me, and that was around, I don't remember the exact year, but I remember I was about 20 years old when I did my first IRL stream. Just using a phone, go on an app and just talk and do talent shows. That's all I did.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then one thing that really caught my attention. I popped in your stream yesterday just to kind of. I needed your email address. I was like, I got to send her something. And I was like, I really don't want to do it on her stream, but she's live right now, so and I haven't checked out her live stream, so I'm just gonna pop in there. And yeah, you were very welcoming. It's a very warm stream. I liked it. Like the vibe was really cool, and so yeah, I could definitely tell, why you're seeing the success that you're having. So
I
uh,
really appreciate you passing by. You actually tuned in one of my sponsored streams. So I work with a lot of developers. I actually showcase their games, and PRs contact me saying, "Hey, we want you to stream this game." So I think you tuned in for the Cyanide and Happiness, which that game just came out last week.
yeah,
So yeah, that game just actually came out last week, and I was one of the 50 streamers that they selected to demonstrate the game. I had so many technical difficulties the first day, and then after that, it happens. And a lot of content creators and streamers think that it's just go live button, hit the go live and go live, and it's way more technical than that. Like right before this interview, I had technical difficulties, and then I found out that I had to update my router, and I'm like, "Oh, that's why my internet keeps cutting out because since I updated it, it's been working, but let me find wood to knock on so we don't jinx that. This is metal. That helps."
well, being in New York, you should have some access to pretty high speed internet there, don't you?
Well, I had business, so it better be good. Let me just say
Yeah,
that.
no kidding.
I'm paying for business. So, I got better internet than my own mom.
I'm super lucky here. Like I'm in the middle. I'm in the Midwest. You'd think that you know it's like tumbleweeds and corn, wheat, and that's it. But they installed fiber here last year, so I actually have 1 gig. I recently upped it back up to 1 gig, but it's fiber, 1 gig up, 1 gig down, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever. So they provide the router. I don't. I think if there's any problems with it, they'll come out and fix it. But
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, the company provided the modem. I got the router. I went the cheapest route. I got a TP link. But gamers, if you want a real router, get Netgear Nighthawk. Don't be like me. Don't be a cheapstake. I just, I wanted to budget myself. Little by little, I will upgrade because, I'm still learning. I've been on in this for 4 years and I'm still learning every day. And I constantly educate myself. And when people want shortcuts, it just ticks me off.
Hmm.
Especially when they think that this is an overnight success. This is a
Right.
yearly, daily thing that I've been working on for a long time. And it's definitely not easy. It's actually very overwhelming.
Yeah, I had so many issues for a while with my streaming. Come to find out, not only was my CPU just not able to handle everything, so I had to upgrade that, but also my ingest server with Twitch. I had to find a different one. My local one that it would automatically go to was actually terrible.
Oh, wow.
So,
So you have to
so
manually do it?
yeah, so you can manually change and choose your ingest server. It's just a little link that you'll put in whatever streaming software that you're using. So I use OBS. And lo and behold, it fixed it. But I mean, I had to do a
Ah.
lot of research to figure out why is my stream cutting out? What's going on? It's not my internet. You go down the line. So,
Yeah, I use XSplit, and yeah, I do
oh,
have my issues, but I have direct support, so immediately it's a $200 program, I will hope so, and as soon as I need help, they're like, "Yes, we'll fix it for you, da 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 da," so yeah,
that's awesome then.
that's all we're gonna do. But I don't I Okay, I could say I recommend it to people, but it's definitely easier. But if you're used to OBS, go with the OBS and stay away from Streamlabs because Streamlabs is actually a CPU GPU guzzler.
Yep. I run it as admin to go around that. But yeah, as soon as my OBS Prime is out, because they don't give refunds, by the way.
Oh,
It's
I'm
a
sorry to
yearly
hear that.
subscription. Yeah, it was gifted to me, and so I'm not gonna not use it. But yeah, after that, I'm just going to straight old OBS, and that's what almost everyone has recommended as well. Because yeah, Streamlabs. That's yeah. The only solution I have was run it as admin, and it tends to do just fine.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I think that's one of the NVIDIA developers reached out on my Twitter when I was having trouble streaming because I'd picked up a 3070 when they launched, and I was having trouble streaming Warzone. One of the developers reached out and said you had to launch OBS in admin mode. So still didn't fix it because I'm not sure what the deal was. I don't know if it was just because that card was newer and they didn't have the drivers worked out, and it just didn't play well with Warzone at all. But I fixed it. I got a 3090 now somehow. I magically
Ooh.
I magically pulled one out of thin air in December somehow. And I actually have a bot on my Discord that like shows when they're in stock, and that bot hasn't went off in weeks now.
Hmm.
So they're like extremely limited right now on cards.
Yeah, every time I see an article about it, it'll say they're available somewhere, and then it'll have an update and say they're not, like within minutes. So, and that was definitely like months ago when they first were coming out. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that hasn't, there isn't any relief there yet.
So circling back to Facebook gaming, what I've noticed, like every streamer that I've followed in the past, or that was like friends with on Mixer that went to Twitch, and then they're like, I'm going to leave Twitch, I'm going to go to Facebook. They would kind of just go into this black hole and disappear, and I couldn't find them over there. Like I have my profile set up over there, but I cannot figure out for the life of me their platform. Like I really wish they would just kind of branch that off into its own domain. You know what I mean?
Well, they actually do have their own app. It's called Facebook.gg. They do have an app, but it's definitely you need to have that Facebook profile and and everything linked up. So the reason why I left Facebook, um, I know because you're gonna about to ask me that question, why? Um, I I love Facebook. I Don't get me wrong. I grew tremendously on Facebook. I have 10,000 followers on my Facebook gaming page. But it didn't work out for me. I got locked out for an entire month. I couldn't
Oh,
stream.
whoa.
I couldn't do anything. And the only answer they told me was, "Oh, your account was like getting hacked or something. We're trying to protect you. But that was I still don't think that's the valid reason. And as soon as they gave my account back, I felt uncomfortable. I didn't feel like my reach was gonna grow or anything, because ever since that lockout happened, my page viewership and engagement dropped instantly and like tremendously.